Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I didn't make a video yesterday, so that means that I have 3 players to talk about today. So bear with me. We're going to get into some second round names here. Richie Saunders, Richie Saunders, BYU shooting guard, 6'5", 200-pound senior. And we also has Ruben Chinyelu, Florida center, 6'10", 265-pound junior. And then we also have Baba Miller out of Spain, Cincinnati, small forward, 6'11", 225, also a senior. I think I'll start with Baba Miller since he was the most recent one to talk about, or did homework on rather, today. Baba Miller is somewhat of a unicorn, and when you consider him as a second round guy, you like the value. If you're trying to consider him a first round guy like he was projected to be 3 years ago, nah, too many questions. But Baba is extremely unique. His athleticism and his explosiveness is really, really special. He reminds me of a DeAndre Jordan type player in that regard. What's my guy at the Lakers? Backup center for the Lakers. Can't think of my man's name. Jesus Christ, I hate when that happens. But he's an explosive center prospect. He was a guy who was at 1.62 as a guard and then grew to be 6'11" in a matter of like a year or 2 years, something like that. Some crazy growth spurt. So which means he has guard skills. He's an excellent passer for his size. Excellent passer. The whip passes that he makes are special. Sometimes, though, his decision-making in passing the ball can be very bad. He's a high turnover guy. He tries to squeeze the ball into tight windows and stuff like that. So when I say excellent passer, there's an aspect of passing that has to do with what you can physically accomplish, and then there's a decision-making aptitude part of that as well. He is good at making passes. He's not necessarily good at choosing the right passes to make. But he averages 4 assists a game. 11 rebounds. He's a very good rebounder and explosive as hell. He can dunk from basically the free throw line. He did it multiple times in the highlights. His standing reach is pretty solid, very good actually for his 6'11" height rather. He has good wingspan. Reminds me of Obi Toppin in a way. He's not as bouncy, not as athletic as Obi Toppin, but that's the kind of body he kind of looks like. He has a tall guy that can explode off the floor, and then, the DeAndre Jordan stuff is there, and the Jackson Hayes. Excuse me for not remembering Jackson's name. He's like a Jackson Hayes type prospect in my opinion. That's who I compare him to. Earlier on, he was 2-3 years ago, he was expected to be potentially a lottery pick, and they were kind of having him in the range of like Alex Sarr before that draft. They were having conversations with him in regards to what's the guy's name that went to Miami with the 4-letter name, not coming to mind, but the center for the Miami Heat, their prospect. So he was in that category. He was in that class. They were looking at him like that, and he just didn't come out because there were too many questions surrounding him. He also got in a little trouble early on in the NIL days. He took a couple $1,000s to kind of get him over from Spain to America, and they got him in trouble with that. So there might be some stuff to consider in regards to the suspension, the 15-game suspensions that he took on several years ago. But he's long past that. He's moved from schools. He was initially at Florida State, a Seminole, where he was asked to pick up players full court. So he's capable of guarding multiple positions with his athleticism and his speed at that height and that length is extremely, extremely helpful on the defensive end. And kind of took on an entirely different role with Cincinnati, where they didn't ask him to do as much of that. So you got a chance to see Baba Miller display some versatility as it pertains to the different roles that he takes on for different situations. So that's really positive. 22 years of age on draft day. Like I said, 225, 6'11", average .36, 14 points, 2.5 turnovers, 0.8 steals, 1.3 blocks, 4.2 assists, 11.7 rebounds. Now, he's a poor three-point shooter. I did overhear them say that he had a season where he shot 37% from three. But throughout the course of this past season, he shot 19% from three. Not a great free throw shooter either, 65% free throw shooter there, but he shot 52% from the field, dunking a lot of stuff, a whole lot of stuff. His free throw attempt per field goal is good. He definitely gets to the line a lot. Doesn't make him as well as you'd like him to. His usage percentage, estimated percentage of team plays used by a player when on the floor was 21%, not very good usage rate, but his assist usage rate, 1.10 is good. Assist to turnover ratio, 1.69 is considered very good. So you consider like he's not a good turnover player, but he's also a passing big. So you got to rank up your expectations for your threshold for turnovers based on his propensity to make passes. As I said, he tends to try to do things with the pass. Defensive plus minus is 5.8. So that's really good. Defensive win shares, 0.105, which is considered very good. His offensive win shares is bad, 0.81, which is very bad. And offensive box plus minus is 3.7. So he's not the greatest offensive player overall, but he can help you offensively in making others better and just catching lobs and stuff like that. He's a Luka lob catcher if I ever seen one, Lakers. For my Laker family out there, he's a Luka lob catcher. You can definitely replace this guy with Jackson Hayes or vice versa. This is a Jackson Hayes replacement. I probably trust Jackson a little more based on what I've learned, but I think this guy probably has more skills than Jackson overall. Jackson's just a more developed player at this point, and that's why you trust him. You're going to have to work on this guy and get him to where Jackson's at, but when he gets there, he'll probably be a better player than Jackson overall. So it's that kind of thing. He's a better rebounder than Jackson, certainly. And definitely a better passer, although Jackson isn't all that bad at passing. This guy is an assist guy. And this guy has really good ball handling. Of course, he used to be a guard, so he can do little juke moves with the ball and the ball underneath his legs and stuff like that, ins and outs type, bag is not bad at all. I saw him do a little bit of that. But where he really shines in the open court when you get him a fast break attempt and he explodes dunking the ball, he's going to ignite crowds just like Jackson Hayes, catch lobs just like Jackson Hayes. So the bounce is real with this guy, and I love that about his game for us, specifically Laker fans. I would not take him at 25, not by a long shot, but I would buy into the second round, try to get him around 35, 40, something like that. He should be available in theory. Unless he has a fantastic combine. He's actually projected to go to the Golden State Warriors on Tankathon with our pick. So a pick that we since given to the Warriors, obviously. 24th pick in the second round. So, this is a guy you can get in the back of the draft. He may go undrafted. He doesn't have the ability to go back to school, obviously, as a senior. He probably should have came out sooner, if I'm being honest with you. But like I said, there was a lot of stuff surrounding his name. The NIL money was available to him, so he just stayed in school. But I do think that this guy had a lot more juice to him as a 19-year-old as it pertains to his just overall hype. There's not a whole lot of hype around him, which is good because you can get him at a discount for what it is he brings to the table with the type of skills that he has. He's a very skilled player, but his jump shot needs to improve. I watched 18, 17 minutes of highlights, and he only shot the ball 3 times from anywhere. He had 3 3-point attempts. The rest was all dunks, all passes. So that was a little concerning for me as a modern player, especially somebody who projects to be a unicorn. If you can't shoot the ball, you're not a unicorn in this league. But the defensive stuff was very interesting, especially how he's able to track around smaller guys and stuff like that. With that length, guard, he can defend the 3-point line probably pretty well. With that being the case, so this is an intriguing talent like Jackson Hayes, who can kind of defend down as it pertains to players a little smaller than him, get out to the 3 perimeter, get back into the paint. He can do a lot of that. So my comp for him is somewhere between Jackson Hayes and Obi Toppin. He's somewhere in between there. Obi's obviously a fantastic shooter, terrible defender. This guy is a bad defender, a bad shooter, above average defender. So they're like inverted, but it's kind of the same thing really for me. That's the type of player this is, in my opinion, Baba Miller. I think he can make it in the NBA, but some of the stuff, the critiques about him is that he disappears, man. He be having games where he just don't do nothing at all. And that from somebody who's considered a senior, 22 years of age, a rookie, that's just not going to cut it That type of reputation is going to make people run away from him. And that is exactly why he's going in the second round, well deep into the second round, and maybe even undrafted. But if he does go undrafted, the Lakers have to call him up. We have to give this guy a summer league invite for if he goes undrafted. We can't let another team get him. He fits our situation a little too much with Luka. This is a Luka lob catcher. If anybody's going to unlock this player, it's going to be Luka Doncic. You see what I'm saying? If anybody's going to get the most out of this kind of guy, it's Luka Doncic. He shouldn't go nowhere else but the Lakers. And I'm saying that with a whole lot of confidence. There's not a better place in this league for that player than next to Luka Doncic. Straight up. We've already seen it. We've seen it multiple times. Lively, Jackson Hayes, these players ain't nothing without Luka Doncic, and they're everything with him. Period. So, the Lakers, I think he should want to go to the Lakers. If he knows what's good with him, that's the one place in the league where he knows he can be able to at least look very good. He's going to look very good for us. And so does every prototype or build that of that nature. You want to play with Luka. So that's what I got to say about Baba Miller, man. I wouldn't reach for him, but if you able to get him in the second round or as an undrafted player, the potential reward can be immense because he has skills that are extremely exciting, tools that are extremely exciting, but he has deficiencies that at this point you've seen enough of to expect that that's just what it's going to be. And so you do think of him as a Jackson Hayes. You don't think he'll reach some DeAndre Jordan ceiling, not at all. He's a role player, a career backup, or even third string guy, maybe even overseas guy. If he reaches his floor in the league, he won't be around for very long. But it's an intriguing situation where he has tools. We've seen guys have tools before, though. We've seen these guys that are extra special in certain things but just can't put it all together. He kind of looked like that's what this is about to be. But for a lot of those guys, I think fit and opportunity was also a determinative factor for whether or not they were able to make it. And they just didn't get those. So hopefully Baba Miller can land in the right spot and show people why they should be intrigued with him, because he's definitely got some attributes that are fit for the NBA. Definitely. So that's what I got to say about Baba Miller. The next player I'll talk about is Ruben Chinyelu. Ruben Chinyelu out of Florida, forward. Not a forward. He's a center. He is a junior. This is what I'm looking for. 22 years of age on draft day. 6'10", 265 pounds out of Nigeria. This dude is pure muscle. A pure muscle, gorilla dunking monster of a man. Absolutely incredibly physically providing 7'7" wingspan on a 6'10" body. This dude's arms go on forever. His motor is elite. He's athletic enough to get out and guard wings just like Baba, but he does it with a muscular build. This dude is important for our Laker organization as well as a prospect. We definitely need to get a look at him, to give him an invite for certain, just off the strength of what his attributes are. Fantastic rebounder. One of the best rebounders in this entire draft. He averaged 16.5 rebounds per 36 minutes, 16 points, 2.2 rebounds, 1.1 steals, 1.5 blocks, and 1.0 assists. The frustrating thing about Ruben for me is when you have a 7'7" wingspan, you got to be a good shot blocker, and he's not considered a good shot blocker. Now, that could have had a lot to do with the system that he was running in Florida. This guy is a phenomenal rebounder, so it's, he definitely makes up for it. But you would expect a guy like that, with that type of wingspan, playing this position, to block like at least 2.3 shots a game. He blocks 1.5. So that's a little concerning, and he's not an assist guy. He's not Baba in that way. He ain't getting nobody else involved. He's finishing plays, not necessarily extending them to others. Shoots about almost 70% from the free throw line, 69% from the line, so that's pretty solid. Not going to stretch the floor at all. He didn't even attempt a three this year. 58% from the field, dunking a lot of everything. Assist to turnover ratio is bad. He turns the ball over a lot. 2.2 turnovers as a non-passer is alarming. So that's why he's a second-round guy for certain, because the assist to turnover ratio is just 0.44, which is really, really bad. Or rather, 0.23. as an assist to usage rate, and an assist to turnover was 0.44, as I initially said. His usage rate is 19.4, so all of that's bad. 3-point percentage, obviously not very good. 0.008, not good. But, his defensive win shares is good, 0.107. And his offensive rebounding rate is good, 126.2. And so when you're getting this guy to crash glass, man, give you extra in third and fourth offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, he's going to kill it on both sides of the floor. He's a rebounding monster. And just a massive person to try to deal with. He's so strong, man, muscle bound. He just built out of this world. A couple names that come to mind. I'm trying to think of their names as I'm stuttering here. The guy who used to play for the Lakers now plays for the Knicks. He's on the roster. He don't play at all. But, he was a big guy that we had. Damn, they're not showing his name on here. But he reminds me of that player a little bit. Just a bruiser of a man, you know what I mean? Like big time, push you around. Trey Jemison, that's who he reminds me. Trey Jemison, 6'10", 270. Trey Jemison for the Lakers. He set good screens. He rebounded the ball. It wasn't really skilled, but you had an enforcer in place when this guy's on the floor. That's what this guy reminds me of. Trey Jemison with a little more higher ceiling, higher floor, higher ceiling. He's a better player than Trey for sure, but when I look at him, I think of that player. Some of the guys that have come along the way. That's another name, too. Bismack Biyombo. It's a big Bismack type dude, but even stronger than Bismack. Even more capable of rebounding the ball. I didn't think of Bismack as a very skilled player at all, but he was a bruiser. Just a stand, and set a real good screen, rolled pretty well. This guy is probably much more explosive than Bismack, though. I don't recall Bismack being overly dunky and stuff like that. This guy is. So, Chinyelu, man, definitely somebody the Lakers need to pay attention to. A good lob threat for Luka. And just overall an enforcer on this basketball floor. A glass cleaner extraordinaire. Somebody who's going to be athletic enough to get out and guard others. His wings, he can get out there and really trek out and bother them. Somebody who's going to be a real problem out there. Give you extra third and fourth and fifth possessions. That situation we had with the OKC Thunder a few nights ago in Game 3, in the fourth quarter, when they got 5 straight offensive rebounds, that ain't happening if that player is not at all taking place with Chinyelu on the floor. He's going to beat some of y'all OKC Thunder centers to rebounds for certain. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, you're going to have to deal with him out there. Hartenstein, that's essentially what I'm trying to think of, Hartenstein's name. A guy like Hartenstein go get a couple boards on Chinyelu, but Chinyelu going to make him feel it doing so. And that's exactly the type of piece that my team needs. So I got him firmly as somebody I would take middle of the second round, maybe even the top of the second round, depending on the need of the team. I don't think I take him at 25, just respecting value. But if I love this piece, I'm definitely trading down to get him if I'm the LA Lakers. I'm specifically talking about the Lakers in this video because we need centers bad. And so with the center position being a little scarce at the top of this draft, just in general, it's not a lot of centers. I think we should know specifically who all plays the center position and kind of think about the fit. And so for me, I like energy. I like versatility guarding perimeter players since we have wing issues that we may not be able to address, Banshee, so to speak, issues. I think Chinyelu and Baba Miller are 2 pieces that the Lakers should be targeting in the second round or in the undrafted market. Chinyelu's getting drafted, Baba probably not. So that's really what it is. I think Baba gets drafted too, but much later is what I should have said. Yeah, man, that's really what it is, man. The double-double machine, 16 points, 16 rebounds per 36 minutes, 10 points, 11 rebounds per 24 minutes. Not the greatest shot blocker, solid steals player, turns the ball over way too much, solid free throw shooter, but just a rebounding monster of a man. It's going to dunk the ball with 2 hands, come down and do the gorilla move all the way down the court, big balls move type stuff. This is a explosive muscle-bound African dude, and it's, you can never have too many of these, and that's really what it comes down to. It's always good that each team have one of those dudes or two of those dudes going forward. You know, somebody who's got the strength, 265 pounds, 7'7" wingspan. That should be extremely valuable. Even though he doesn't stretch the floor, you can always use a prime or early developing Bismack Biyombo player. Every team could use somebody like that on the roster. Remember, I don't want to say the wrong name, but DJ Mbanga. We won a whole championship with DJ Mbanga as our final player on the roster. It's good to have a dude like that around. And now that Masai Ujiri's in Dallas, he's going to take all of them. So y'all better get him. If you like players like that, you better get him before he get all of them. I'll tell you that. So, and the final player that we're going to talk about, different player, not a center at all. This is a shooter, a movement shooter, a guy that runs off of screens, catch and shoot type of guy. Totally different type of player. His name is Richie Saunders. 6'5", 200 pounds, out of BYU. He was the running mate of AJ DeBonsta. It's a guy that's made his career at BYU shooting the ball. He was a really decorated player there, stayed all 4 years. He's going to be one of the oldest players in this draft, 24 years of age, almost 25 years of age on draft day. And unfortunately, he went down with a knee injury that kept him out for the remainder of this season. So he ended his career with a knee injury at BYU. Really sad stuff. But the highlights were really, really good, man. This is a talented shooter, man. He averaged 20 points per 36 minutes, 1.9 turnovers, 2.0 steals. You can steal the ball. 0.3 blocks, you don't get him for that. 2.4 assists, 6.6 rebounds. So he's a pretty good rebounder, good steals player. Turnover is not bad. Scoring is good. Shot 81% from the free throw line, so you love that as, shooter. 37% from the three, but a lot of volume, so you like that. 48% from the field for his position, that's really good. For his size and stuff, that's really good. His offensive rating is off the charts, really. Estimated points produced per 100 possessions, 131.1. His defensive rating was where he was not very good, 106.8 for defensive rating. So he's not the greatest defensive player, even though he steals the ball very well. His assist usage, 0.50. You're not getting him for assists. That's not what he's here for. But 3-point percentage from NBA line, 34% on high volume. So this is a shooter. This is a guy who has a lot of experience, a guy who's ready to help you if you're a contender right now, somebody you can feel comfortable putting on the floor, assuming all things remain equal with the knee injury. It was a ACL, I think, but a rather clean kind of ACL injury, so he should be able to come back 100% ready to go. He is 6'5", 200 pounds, so I'm not too worried about the knee injury. You don't expect for him to play for 15 years anyway. He's already 24 years old, so the main thing is just getting him out there, see if he can help you with catch and shoot situations, stretching the floor for teams that really need floor spacing, who are trying to be champion type teams. A team like OKC could always use a piece like this, who's ready to catch and shoot. Detroit can use a piece like this. Orlando, the Rockets, teams that really need floor spacers who also are ready to contend some. Or systems like Boston, Charlotte, that have three-point systems in place, Golden State, that are also ready to win. I can see him fitting with any of those teams. I don't really have a comp for him, to be honest with you, but he just looked like a really, really reliable scoring shooter, a really, really consistent scoring shooter. All the three-point stuff is great. Three-point attempt rate, 0.57. Assisted. Effective field goal percentage, 0.59. 60% basically. True shooting percentage, 0.62. 63 rather. 0.63 true shooting percentage. So he's an excellent shooter all the way around. Very reliable scorer. Very decorated college guy. Somebody who's ready to help an NBA team right now. Doesn't have a whole lot of development, not a whole lot of upside, but a very strong floor. And I think there's a world where he goes undrafted because of the knee and because of the age. But he'll immediately get a call up from some team that'll be ready to put him on the floor and help themselves. So he's a no-brainer. I think it's very clear that regardless if he gets drafted or not, he will be on somebody's NBA team. As 10th guy or something like that. You know what I mean? Somebody off the bench, probably playing garbage time or something like that. But can't help you if called upon. If guys get hurt, he can come in and be an elite shooter. You know what I mean? Depending on the system, depending on the needs of the team, he could be an extremely serviceable scorer from all three levels. And his defense ain't bad. He could be a part of a good defensive system, part of a good defensive unit. So this is a two-way talent. I like Richie Saunders. Everything I saw from Richie Saunders was really good, man. Honestly. You know, he really fit the NBA mold at 6'5". You can put him on the floor. And he's good enough defensively to where you're not sitting there saying, I got to get him out of here because he's going to get targeted. Or he's going to get blown past, stuff like that. He's a good steals player. So I thought what I saw from him was solid two-way stuff, man. Solid two-way stuff. A guy that fits in a lot of situations. A guy that can help pretty much any team. And just a nice overall unit player. Somebody who's going to bring a good vibe to the locker room from what I understand. Somebody who's going to be able to rally the troops, help the young guys, even though he's a rookie, 24 years of age. Everybody's a young guy to him. And I just like him for like a multitude of situations, honestly. And so we'll find out what's going on with the health. It's the worst thing in the world for a guy like this to have a knee injury around this time of year. I do think there's a chance he goes undrafted because of it. But like I said, I think he has zero worries about whether or not a team is going to ask him to come in as an undrafted guy. 1,000% yes. He's going to be called in as an undrafted guy somewhere. And I think with what it is he can do, he's going to make the team rather easily. And he's going to impress when he gets there. So that's really what it is, man. Richie Saunders. I want to say Saunders so bad, but it is definitely Saunders. Richie Saunders, Mormon guy out of Utah. Ready to help a team right now, man. Look like a really sound basketball player. Somebody who could take a heavy load in college for certain. He was one of the best players at BYU and looked damn good next to DeBonster. Very, very good next to DeBonster. And I think BYU pretty much would have been a much better team if he would have been able to stay healthy through the tournament. But he got hurt right before it, and because of it, they just weren't able to do what they needed to do. So that's really what it is, man. Richie Saunders. Definitely somebody that needs to be on an NBA team. How he gets there, what path, I'm not really sure if I use a second rounder on him. But I'm going to call him and call his agent right after the draft and tell him to come to my team. I'll tell you that. That I will do. So, yeah, that's what I got to say, man. 3 prospects that I think people should be extremely encouraged by. Baba because of the tools and the skills, the unique, stuff that he can do. If he could put it all together, this is a guy, to be honest with you, he might have all-star upside, if I'm being honest with you. Baba Miller, if he reaches his ceiling, he's probably an all-star. But he's not likely to do that. We've seen players like this come around many times who could do a lot, but just aren't able to put it all together at all. Your Bowles and guys like that, they for whatever reason, they just don't work. And that's kind of what this is shaping up to be for him. But maybe he has a much better path in the NBA, And so if somebody may be able to get the most out of him. And like I said, he should be playing with Luka for certain. And then Chinyelu, man, he fits anywhere. Anybody that needs a big center, which is everybody, literally everybody, a backup center that can rebound the ball like a madman and be stronger than everybody else, push people around. Yeah, that's Chinyelu. You definitely want Chinyelu. Whoever you are, you want Chinyelu pretty much. Whether you know it or not, everybody needs Chinyelu. And then Richie Saunders, fantastic shooter, experience, ready to help you. BDL 44, I thank you all for watching.